You say you generally agree with conservative philosophy and hold conservative and libertarianish ideals, but you don't really like what you see of the political right at the moment. What do you not like about the right? I think they are not really practicing conservative values. They are divisive, irrational, and sometimes even hateful. They also often don't respect the rule of law or the importance of consensus if they don't get their way. This is not conservative. It is radical and destructive. It is certainly not the conservative values I grew up with. And I know that many people who believe in true conservative values really don't like what the right stands for right now. Tell me more about the conservative values you grew up with and how they differ from today's right. It's things like caring for families, caring for each other. It's things like maintaining healthy communities so people can thrive. It's about keeping with the spirit of traditions, which includes having love for each other. This certainly isn't what the right-wing culture warriors are doing, and it certainly doesn't include mindless destruction of long-standing institutions and safeguards, the denigration of experts and what they have to offer, and the refusal to listen to and consider different points of view and bring about social consensus. My way or the highway is the least conservative way to approach controversial issues. Interesting point about the culture warriors. I agree that they self-identify as conservative, but they're not really conservative by historical or serious philosophical standards. Indeed, I think this is creating a major problem for conservative parties around the world. Many moderate, old-school conservatives have said time and time again that they want to steer clear of the culture wars, even as the new right is pretty much leaning in, following the lead of Trump. I think Trump is a bad influence on the right. They were by no means perfect, but they certainly weren't like this back in 2015. Under Trump, the right has no use for conservative values or philosophy. They just want to own the libs, which again is not what conservatism is. I'm worried that new generations are growing up, thinking that Trumpian culture wars is what conservatism is. It's poisoning their minds. I think it's worth talking a little bit about what conservatism is, or in a broader sense, what the right is. Conservatism, rightly understood, is the canon of philosophical thinking that goes back to thinkers like Edmund Burke, who have basically nothing in common with the reactionary culture warriors we have today. On the other hand, I've long held that the right, as we know it, is an artificial social construct that lumps in genuine conservatives, libertarians, and seriously reactionary people like the Trumpian New Right. People who have very little in common with each other otherwise, except that they are not the left. It is this artificial construct that we need to challenge. From what I've seen, the space to challenge this construct only seems to open up when the right is decisively defeated, like in the recent Australian election. As you can see in that example, people actually come out and try to define and defend what they see as true conservative values or true classical liberal values, saying that their party needs to return to those values and stay away from the culture wars. On the other hand, after last November's Trump win, in America, the Republicans have leaned all in behind Trump, without much room for such critical thinking. This is why I'm thinking that perhaps a decisive defeat of the right as it currently exists is the only way we will have the room for such important discussions. And these conversations are really worth having, because the replacement of the meaningful tradition of conservatism with mindless reactionary culture war, own the libs politics would be a real tragedy of historical proportions.